Alright, so in this video we're going to take a look at converting AutoCAD 2D DWG files into SolidWorks solid part models. I'm using 2013, so you want to make sure that your AutoCAD file is in at least 2010 version. What you're going to do is use Open. You're going to locate the file, and here's the AutoCAD file. Again, it's in 2010 version for my 2013 SolidWorks, and I'm going to open it. If it's not in the right version, you can open your AutoCAD and do the Save As into the lower version, and then come back to your SolidWorks. You're going to use the Open command, open it, and then you should get the DWG DXF import wizard. There's two different ways to import. One way is to import model information as drawing information, or in our case right now, we're going to import model information into part information. So that's the first selection there. Okay. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to bring in the 2D geometry and you're going to use it as 2D sketch geometry. Okay. As we go to next, you're going to see a preview of the model geometry. First thing you want to do is you can determine what layers you need, right? For clarity and for checking your drawings, what I would do is this, I would import only the hidden lines, right? So you can confirm what should be hidden, and also only your object lines. You don't need anything else. So if I have hidden and object lines, now you can see in the preview, right? That's the next step. Once you have that selected, you can go to the next step. And then here, what you're doing is basically also when you're looking at AutoCAD files, hopefully the person that's developed this, or if you developed it, you've used Object Snap and you close all the profiles. But basically, if you're not sure, you can change the tolerance here to make sure if anything less than what's shown there has a gap, you can close it. We don't have to worry about this because we know that we used Object Snap modes. Okay, so all profiles are closed. Alright, once we do that, we can finish. So basically all you're doing is you're selecting what layers you want, okay, and what the tolerance is going to be for any open profiles to automatically close them. And all we're importing is the model information. So once I hit finish, it'll go through the conversion. Okay, we don't have to worry about this because there's other information in that drawing too, which might be a block. But I'm just going to go in and click yes, just to continue. And now you'll see here a representation of the 2D geometry, right? So once you're back into the SolidWorks part model, you can see that it automatically created a sketch, but you don't even see the sketch here, right? All you see is the sketch called model, and it contains all of the line work, right? But now the task at hand is to assign all the groups of line work to a specific sketch, and therefore a specific plane. Now again, if you take a look at your view and you turn on your origins, you'll be able to see the bottom left-hand corner here shows the origin. And so you could assume that this was the origin in the AutoCAD file as well. Okay, so in order to proceed, what you'll need here is the 2D to 3D converting toolbar. So if I right-click and select 2D to 3D here, looks like it's already open. And it's on my other screen, so I'm just going to pull it up and you'll see it right here. Okay. Now what you're going to do with this is you're going to select groups of line work, okay, and then you'll be able to project that line work into a separate sketch and a separate plane. So I selected all the front line sketch line work there, and now I'm going to add it to the front sketch, right? Now you can see it's created a new sketch and copied or cut that information and pasted onto that new sketch. Okay. We'll continue by selecting all the right side sketch line work, and now we'll use add to right side sketch. So now you'll see it also reposition itself. Okay. Now we'll do the left side. Okay. And then we'll select the top line sketches, and we'll do that. Now we got all these sketches, which they're not all aligned. And if you think about it this way, okay, you've got what looks like the top aligned with the right, but then you have the left, which is not aligned with any of them. So what to do? Okay. Basically, you at least want to get them aligned by their profile lines. What I mean by that is we might want to pull this one and align it with this edge here. So how do we do that? If you take a look at the tools that we have, you can see we have, where is it? Here's a line sketch, okay? And you could align a point from one sketch to another one. So the selection that we make, for example, let's say we want to align this line, right? And use Control-click to align it with this edge. Now I can use the command. So basically, if I look at it from this side, from the left side, now that sketch is aligned, right? Top to bottom and front to back. Let's try the other one now. So deselect. Always select the one that you want to move first. So Control-click, let's say this edge here. Then Control-click this edge here. And then use Align Sketch. That'll pull it forward. It's okay that it's not aligned directly onto the sketch, because all we're using this one here for is the front profile. All we're using these here for is the right or the left profiles, right? Now, we'll want to do the same thing with the top. Once again, if I want to move this forward, I'm going to select it first, and then Control-click this one and move it forward. All right, now that we have all of the sketches aligned here, keep in mind that we have some additional line work. If I wanted to edit this line work, or even rename my sketches to better recognize what I'm working with here, here's what I could do. Let's exit the model sketch, right? This is the information that was imported. Now, since everything is assigned to a new sketch and a new plane, it's gone, it's disappeared, right? As I hover over a sketch in the design tree, you can see the sketch lines in the drawing area that are selected. So if I click and do a long pause click, I can just rename it, right? I'll call this right sketch. Call this the left sketch. And I'll call this the top sketch. Now I can edit these like I would any normal sketch. So if I wanted to, let's say, let's go to the right and edit that, you can see I can get rid of any line work that I don't need, right? And for example, all we really need here are the profiles that represent the features in that face, right? So I could go along each of these sketches and edit it just for the line work I need. I would recommend you try that, okay? You don't need to, but it just makes it easier, right? Less clutter, less confusion. But now what you want to look at is what are going to be the regions or the single edge that I can use to create the base profile, right? And I would suggest you have many different options. So for example, here's what we could do. If I started with, let's say, using Control and simply selecting the outside edge here, okay? Just using that outside edge here, and then you'll notice I have the option to convert to extrusion. Since I have an open profile, right? If I click there, you'll notice the options here, it's going to be automatically set to thin feature, right? But I could use the entire closed profile and use the dimensions set by that profile to create the base extrusion. But just to show you, right? So here, what I would do is set the dimension to 0.25, right? And then also, you can see that it's projected to the outside, right? But I can use the reverse direction to bring it to the inside. Now, the other thing is, as I continue here, I can use the dynamic arrow here to do the extrusion, right? What do you notice? It's too high, and it's too, the dimension's not right, okay? So how do I deal with this, right? Well, that's where you can look at your start and end conditions, right? If I select vertex here, I can tell it to start from this point, right? And also, when you look at the direction here, in terms of the distance, right? I can also select up to vertex. So just using my start point and my end point, I can simply select vertices in the sketch, right? When I click OK here, now you can see the base extrusion, right? It has the correct height extrusion, and it has the correct profile. So now, if I want to continue doing the cut features, let's start first with the right plane, okay? Again, what we could do here, you'll notice that we have extrude and cut extrude, right? Let's just start with the command first. Let's start with cut extrude, right? What I want to do here is I could either select an edge or a contour, right? I can select an edge or a contour, and let's go ahead and just select the contour here. Okay, and what I could do is change the direction, but before I do that, let me go back and select the convert to cut. Now, once again, you'll notice because it's not right on the face, okay, and especially if it's a cut, it doesn't really matter, right, because there's no material there. But just to illustrate again, where do I want to start a cut? You have options. Let's say I want to start at a vertex. It's prompting me to select the vertex. So we could even use the solid feature right here. That's where I want to start from. Notice how that's where it starts to cut extrude. And again, if let's say I zoom in a little bit more, I'm using direction 1, only one direction. Again, I can actually punch in the value, or I can do up to vertex. Here you can see I can select the vertex. So you can tell the difference because one is green and the other one is the purple. That's my start and that's my end. Right? But obviously, yes, you could actually select up to surface. And you could select a surface, for example. Or you could select up to next. And obviously, since this is the first face, that's the next face. So you have options. And let me go back to setting vertex and select that one, right? And then click OK. Now you can see your cut extrude, right? Now the reason why I did this one separate from like these two larger slots, or the top and the bottom, is that these are open profiles. So let's take a look at how we're going to do that. Okay. Once again, if I do convert to cut, this time I'll select, control click these edges right here, and again go convert to cut. And what you'll see here is, again, it's using a thin feature automatically because it's an open profile, right? I can't really create a contour because I have no other edges there. But you remember I deleted those hidden lines, right? Or those projected lines in the back. So how would I be able to use this, right? If I remove the thin feature, right? And you'll notice that now I don't have any sketch lines selected. And it actually, let's see, I actually do have a contour there, but it automatically used thin feature. This is where I'd probably want to create the closing boundaries right here, because this is what happens when you have just an open profile. It does through all, not what we want, right? So let me cancel this, okay? And again, as I said before, these are just normal sketches. So if I just take the sketch, right, and I use a line, start from one end and I make a horizontal. Let's project from here. Actually, let's try to do this normal so it's easier to draft. Let me redraw that line. This way I can make contours. Right? And then I'll come down here, make this contour here too. Well, that didn't start out right. Let's go from here to there and close it. Now watch, because I have closed profiles, okay, let's close the sketch. Now I can use regions. So again, if I start with cut extrude, right, you'll notice here, if I just start to select an edge, we'll do cut extrude. Again, it goes through all. But now if I go down here and use contours, let's clear the selections. Now I should be able to select. Let's remove the thin. And it doesn't look like it's cooperating there, but I should be able to select just that closed boundary right there. Let's try a different area. Let's see if we can get it. It seems stuck on that. Let's try a different approach. If I pre-select, okay, and then use cut extrude again, now you'll see we'll have the contours. And let's see if we can add this contour down here too, right? You can see there's the sketch. Let's see if we can do that. We can do control, click. It's not cooperating with me. That's okay. It's not a problem. Because here's another thing. Once we have the feature cut, we can actually mirror that. We could do that as an option. Or once again, if I cancel, and instead of just selecting the top slot profile lines, and we select them all at the same time, then we'll have the complete contours. Okay, there's this one, and then there's this one. There it goes. That's strange, not unexpected. Let's remove the thin feature. Very bizarre. It seems to be working with this one. Why don't we just work with that one for right now? Okay. Look, that seems like it should select it, right? But it didn't. I'm just going to delete it and not do the thin feature. It's okay. We'll come back to this one. We'll do it separately if you guys like. Again, we can, as a cut extrude, it doesn't matter if we have to offset it because we're not cutting through anything, and we could go up to vertex and select the inside point there, right? That's what we're cutting through. Let's use this one right here. Let's see if we can pre-select. Right? And do the cut extrude. Right? And again, we'll start from vertex. We'll start here. And then we'll go up to next. Or up to vertex, whichever one you want to use there. So actually, sometimes if these two options don't work, you can try these other ones. But ultimately, you just want to double check the sketch entities right here. Make sure they're closed and you have a region or completely closed profile, and then just click OK. Right? And that way, we can just cut on that face. So as we continue here, we'll use the other regions, and you'll see that we have the line work here that we can use. So let's see how this is going to work. If I use the circle here first, I'm going to use the convert to cut. Again, we'll start from vertex, and then we'll go up to vertex or up to next. And if that doesn't work, oh, here's vertex. Let's select that point there, and that should go through the face, and there we should have our hole. Then this edge right here, this is actually a chamfer, okay? But once again, because we don't have a closed profile here, you can either create it by editing the sketch, or since we know what the dimensions are, or we could read the dimensions too, we can select the edge and just simply do our chamfer. So if we look at chamfer command there, I believe this is set to 1, right? And you could confirm that from this view and just select OK. Then also here, because we have open profile, it's going to go through the whole thing, but we can just simply select the edge and then use fillet. Now, I believe here this is going to be 0.25 or 0.5. Let's check this out. That's going to be 0.25. And then hit enter. So you can also query the sketch entities simply by selecting them and then using evaluate. Alright, so we only have a few more features. Now you can see all the holes here in the front. I'm going to select them all at the same time. So if I use control click, okay, then I'll use cut extrude. Since I'm on the face already, I'm just going to select over here up to next. Right? And that should go through the whole thing there. And I'll click OK, and now we've got all our features. Also, if you take a look at all the sketches here, you can see that they're all turned on, but if I use shift click, I can actually hide them just so I can see the features of the part model there. Then I can save it and actually work on the part drawing.